A teenager captured in a viral video flipping off anti-maskers is getting a lot of praise. So now, the person who, by the way, did give their name in an interview, Fiona Downey, is a 14-year-old student at Champlain Valley Union High School in Vermont. And she was photographed by Glenn Russell, a photographer at VT Digger, flipping off a group of anti-maskers, and it's fantastic. It has turned into an iconic image. I love it. Funny enough, that's exactly what I want to do when I see an anti-masker. I just have to ask, by the way, just have to note, that sign, oh, the mask is not the cure. Okay, well, nobody claimed that it was the cure, but it has been shown to help reduce the transmission and spread of COVID-19, especially in lieu of vaccination for kids under 12. And if you pair it with vaccinations, even better, even better. So again, as I mentioned, kids under 12 cannot get vaccinated, which is why a lot of school districts across the country are trying to enact mask mandates. And in some places, of course, there's a lot of pushback on that, even in places like Florida, for example, where Governor Ron DeSantis decided, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to actually ban school districts from putting mask mandates in. So now the problem is, of course, there are a lot of kids that are now getting sick from the Delta variant. So now, look, for the most part, they're usually okay. Yes, there have been, there's a big uptick in hospitalizations, of course, involving younger children. And some have died. Some get incredibly ill or are hospitalized. Many get a mild case. They tend to bounce back. And, the major concern, other than, of course, the health of the children, is the health of the family as well, because they're also a vector and they also can spread it around. And so now their outcomes happen to be better than adults with COVID, but obviously they're not immune. And they are getting sick, they are getting hospitalized, and that's why the school district is doing what they can to try to protect them and try to protect their families. So now anti-maskers and anti-vaxxers, well, they hate the mandates, and they keep showing up to the school to protest. They're showing up every day for the past couple of weeks to just be like, you know what? Mask bad, vaccines bad. Don't you have like a job? What they would tell, like, I remember when right-wingers would go out and they would, they would dump job applications on people on Occupy Wall Street, for example. Get a job, when you're actually fighting for better wages. And yet, these people can seem to sit around all day and harass kids going to school, holding up signs about masks. Don't you have anything better to do? What is the issue here? No, apparently they have nothing better to do. And so this started to get on at least this girl's nerves. So on Friday morning, she texted her mother, and in all caps, saying, "I flipped off the anti-maskers, and she flipped me off back." Hey, the kids are all right. So now during an interview with the Vermont Alt Weekly 7 Days, she said, quote, "It's just so hard to see them not taking safety precautions seriously and trying to persuade kids to do the worst of the worst." It's always a good thing to see the kids being more adult than the adults. But it's also a bad thing because it means the adults are not being the adults. But of course, then you realize a lot of adults are actually pretty dumb. I mean, think about it this way, right? We're all too old. Older people, obviously, they're wiser. You get wiser with age. Somehow, magically, being on this earth for longer somehow, makes you smarter. No, it doesn't. No, there are actually plenty of older people who are really stupid. Now, there's also plenty of older people who are incredibly smart and super based, and I love them. But then, again, there are also the dumb people. And I have this theory that, the conservatives tend to last a little bit longer than, people who are progressives. My theory is that, well, generally, if you're a conservative person, tend to be more well off. That means if you're white, of course, and Christian and whatever. And you have health care and you have health insurance and you make it to 65. Whereas a lot of the people that are fighting, especially, black people, people of color, who are deeply, deeply progressive, they don't make it because they don't have the resources. Now, that's just what I think. And again, it's not true in every case. But yes, age does not equal wisdom. And so, again, plenty of older people that are stupid, and we call them MAGA. And look, seriously though, younger people tend to be more plugged in to the news and what's going on in the world, which is both good and bad. For one, they actually do know how to find factual information, and they also learn things, and they're, again, more plugged in and more connected. But also it's bad because first they lose the innocence of youth because they realize everything's kind of fucked in this world. So climate is breaking down, greed is rampant, the government's corrupt, and the anti-maskers and anti-vaxxers do not care if you die as long as they get their so-called freedom. So, and yet, adults are the ones that are supposed to know better, and they're supposed to look after the kids and the safety, and they're not. What are you doing? What's wrong with you people? Got to be something wrong, right? That said, anti-maskers, anti-vaxxers, thankfully, they're not in majority. 2 out of 3 parents actually agree with the mask mandates. In fact, a USA Today Ipsos poll determined that about 64% of parents back requiring both teachers and students to wear masks in school. Actually, it averages out to about 65% for mask mandates for both teachers and students. That's great. That's great. Now, 70% of Americans say that they do want teachers and students to return to in-person school 5 days a week. Now, so the situation here is, okay, vaccinate kids over 12 and do mask mandates while in school. Great. So that way you can send the people back to school, the kids. In fact, 81% of all parents and 74% of all adults say that parents should be able to make the decision on whether their children should resume in-person instruction. So give people the choice, of course. But do the mask mandates. And then, of course, when the vaccine is cleared for kids under 12, mandate the vaccine as well. It's not like we don't already have vaccine mandates in our schools. We do. We do. And to travel. Bring on the mandates. Bring on the mandates. And so, look, if you want to get the kids back in school, this is how you do it. I mean, do you remember when conservatives were saying, oh, how dare you keep the kids home from school? How dare you do the lockdowns? The kids need to be in school. What about their mental health? They want to go back. They're hurting. They need to be social. You're hurting their mental health. You're hurting their development. And look, hey, those are legitimate points. Great. Now we have a way to do it. Now we have a way to send them back and to send them back safely. Oh, never mind. Yeah, we don't want to do that. Yeah, we don't want to do the masks. Nope, we don't want to do the vaccines. Nope, 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 nope. Nope, no masks. Look, and here's the thing. It's not about protecting the kids for them. See, the kids do want to go back. Obviously, they want to be their friends. It doesn't matter if they're wearing masks. Most of the kids don't care, or they understand that, hey, it's for our own safety. And we're okay with this. But see, Republicans are using this as a culture war issue. And the only reason they wanted to send the kids back before is so, and this is important, they just wanted to send the parents back to work. Because childcare is one of those things, and home instruction is one of those things that kept workers from going back to work in the restaurants, in the factories, in corporate America. And their donors are like, we got to get the parents back to work. I'm losing profit. Get them back to work. Get them back to work. And so that's really it. And now it's a political issue. And of course, it's bullshit. The kids are seeing right through it. And so, and I give you a quote here from Megan's mother. I'm sorry, not Megan. Fiona's mother, Meagan, who said this about COVID. This has been a particularly hard on adolescents. True, they're coming of age, they're old enough to see what's happening, but they don't have a lot of control. Very, very true. She added, I think in that moment, my daughter did have control over what she could do with her hand, and she chose to use it. Absolutely. She also added, she's such a kind, compassionate person. I want this to be a time for her to thrive. Same. One of her teachers also said that she was proud for taking on the anti-maskers, so that's wonderful. As for the little girl herself, the teen, she then talked about the picture, saying this, quote, I feel like it's such a great metaphor. I don't know how to describe it, really, but I just thought it was beautiful. And of course, it's the way that the picture was focused on her middle finger and having that blurry sign in the foreground. You're right, it is a beautiful picture. I love it. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.